Welcome back to the Scarlet Faithful podcast. I'm Aaron Brightman, coming to you with my rapid reaction minutes after Rutgers' 71-40 victory over St. Peter's on Monday night at the Rack. A dominant performance. Defensively, Rutgers forced 23 turnovers. St. Peter's was turnover prone coming in. And I thought the ball pressure was outstanding, created a lot of havoc. St. Peter's can never really get into their offense. They were uncomfortable all night. Obviously, they were also uncomfortable near the rim. How many blocks did Cliff have? I think he had at least 4. But as a team, Rutgers had 9 blocks tonight. St. Peter's shot 24% from the floor, 13 of 55, which just is abysmal. They were 3 of 19 from 3. The interesting thing is they came in, they were 6th in the country at free throw shooting percentage. 83%. They shot 52%, 11 of 21. They were just completely thrown off. They did, win the battle of the boards. They had 51 rebounds, plus 13. But part of that is the fact that they missed so many shots. The telling part is that they had 22 offensive rebounds, but they only had 12 second chance points. So that's actually a credit to Rutgers for not allowing St. Peter's to do damage on the offensive glass. 12 points on 12 second chance points on 22 offensive rebounds is not good. Rutgers had 11 offensive rebounds and 11 second chance points. So no real differential there. I thought it's funny defensively. Who really jumped out to me tonight was Gavin Griffiths. He looked much better defensively. He's anticipating, he's rotating properly. He's learned a lot defensively, and it's really encouraging that he's made that kind of progress. And I just love that he is doing the little things. He didn't force things tonight. He took 5 shots. It was 2 of 3 from 3. He had 4 rebounds. He was a willing defender. He's got a great attitude. You can tell he had a new haircut, but he's going to get stronger. He's going to get smarter. He showcased his ability to, he got into the lane a couple times. He made some good moves. He just couldn't finish, but he's so talented. And it was really exciting to see him make the strides that he has on defense. Did he have anything else on the stat stuffer? He had 2 steals, 4 boards, in 22 minutes, 6 points. He was plus 16, which was, he didn't play a ton, but he was a positive when he was on the floor, and he's going to have a bigger role as this year goes on. No doubt there. But in terms of, I just thought Noah Fernandes looked so good tonight in so many ways. He showed his craftiness. He showed his veteran leadership, the way he's able to just, it's funny, like there's not a lot of players that can just dribble in the half court and not kind of be a detriment to the offense, where he's so good at being patient and waiting to kind of break the defense down. But he made some veteran moves tonight that were just so impressive, where when the offense, there really wasn't much in the half court, and he drew a foul and a 3-pointer, and he got to the line there. He had a couple drives in the second half. He had one where he kind of over dribbled, and yet he still beat his man to the rim and knifed under him and got fouled and won. He had another one where he just kind of dribbled in the middle of the lane. I mean, obviously St. Peter's was not good defensively. It's not going to necessarily happen like that in Big Ten play, but he just kind of lulled them to sleep, and I think that, yes, we have to see how he's going to do against Big Ten competition. We'll see against Illinois on Saturday. He's a smaller guard at 5'11", but we've seen smaller guards succeed in the Big Ten level before. And it's just his just IQ is super high, but also the leadership he showed, when he had that turnover somewhere in the second half, and then he sprinted all the way down the other end of the floor and got the block shot. That was awesome. I mean, that was what Steve Pikiell wants. That showcases a grittiness about him that translates and rubs off on the team. I just thought he showed so much tonight. He had a big second half. He led Rutgers with 19 points. He was an efficient 5 of 9 from the floor and 9 of 9 from the free throw line. He also had 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal in 26 minutes. He was a team high plus 31. So, Derek Simpson in the first half played well. He didn't do much in the second half, but that's all right. Like, I love how these guys aren't forcing things. Like, Derek had 10 points. He was the only other player in double digits, 3 of 8, shooting 2 of 4 from the floor. He had 2 rebounds, but he only took 8 shots, had 10 points. Noah took 9 shots, had 19 points. Cliff, 6 of 12, had 17 points. He was 5 of 6 from the line tonight, had 8 boards, 4 blocks. Um, Nobody is overshooting. Gavin, Andre took 11 shots. He was just 2 of 11, 1 of 6 from 3. He did have 6 boards, 2 steals. Most of his shots, to his credit, he forced it a little bit. He has a tendency to do that. I thought he took, too many threes early on where they just needed to attack the rim. He had a nice open 3 in transition at some point in the second half. But, he's the only one that kind of overshot a little bit. But it wasn't terrible. And I think this team, is pretty unselfish. They shared the basketball much better in the second half. They had 13 assists on 21 field goals, which is pretty good. Overall, offensively, they were, they were just 11 of 22 on layups, so still not great there. 3 of 3 on dunks, which helps. And points per possession of 1.109, which is good. Not great, but defensively, wow. St. Peter's, their defensive efficiency for Rutgers is going to go way up. Their points per possession are 0.588. So Rutgers is going to go up in the KenPom once again. There were a couple other stats that were super impressive. Points off of turnovers, those 23 turnovers I mentioned. Rutgers ended up scoring 25-5 advantage in points off of turnovers. And then transition, they really got out in the open in the second half, 20-4 in points, fast break points, which was a huge edge, 30-20 points in the paint. Like I said, it was really just rebounds that St. Peter's had a big edge, but they couldn't take advantage of their offensive rebounds. So that was a credit to Rutgers, who shot 72% from the line, 23 of 32, 30% from 3, 6 of 20, just 38% from the field. I thought Cliff, it was great to see them get Cliff in open space in the second half, a couple alley-oops, and they would be more creative. Noah is so good off the pick and roll, off of high ball screens. The more that they work that in and the more Cliff can kind of rotate off it and get an open space, it's just, you can see that they're starting to gel, starting to figure things out offensively a little bit in terms of what's working, and even Austin Williams ran the point late in the game and broke a defender down and got to the rim. Derek Simpson was doing that earlier in the game. They have multiple guys that can get to the rim and break down their defender off the dribble. And that's so huge. And yes, they haven't shot particularly well yet, but they are, there's a strategy there. There's a strength there in their offensive identity. Even I was impressed with Oscar Palmquist. Just if you notice this year, the way he trails on the break, he's much smarter and much better in how you could tell how much they've worked on the transition game this offseason, because you can see Oscar doing things he never used to do, which is, being the trailer, attacking the rim without the ball, making himself a target in traffic in the lane. And he's done some good things there. He started a break. It was definitely second half. It was, in Rutgers territory, and he had a quick pass. I think it was to JaMychal Davis. He just had a fluidity about him, and the way he knew what to do, and he did it very smoothly. I'm telling you, he's improved. I'm not saying he's gonna, he's not probably anything more than the 9th guy in the rotation. But when you talk about depth, as a 9th guy, like, and what he's done so far, like, Rutgers is better, and they're deeper because of that. So it was great to get Austin Williams back. It's important to have him back, I think, for this stretch run now. You have Illinois on Saturday, and then next week they're at Wake, at Seton Hall. He gives them added experience. He can defend the bigger guards. They need him. And he missed those 2 games with a minor injury. Who's back tonight. Didn't play a ton, but it was good to see him get some run, and important for them. Wolf didn't do too much tonight. He had that 3 in the corner. He had 3 assists. which is great to see. JaMychal Davis didn't score, but only took one shot. Again, they're not forcing it. He had 4 assists. 4 rebounds. No, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. He had 4 assists. He led Rutgers with assists. So it's just those positive signs, right? You see everybody contributing in different ways, and there's no like mentality of everybody's got to get their own shots up. They're playing unselfishly. They're all doing a little bit different things game to game to kind of help them win. And it's a really positive sign. This is, I think, a balanced team. Mawot Mag did not play tonight. There was a lot of hope. I was hearing that it was a good chance he was going to play. I think it just shows how cautious they're being. There's obviously a reason for that. And you just have to wait it out. There's no reason to rush him back. He's been cleared for over a month and he hasn't played a game yet. So when he feels comfortable and when they feel it's right, he will. It made sense to try to get him in tonight, but it didn't happen. He didn't even warm up. So we'll see if Steve Peichel says anything in the post game, but obviously getting Mag back is hugely important to the overall ceiling of the season. But I was really encouraged by the way they played tonight. Listen, St. Peter's went to Seton Hall on opening night and lost by 11. They played UMass Lowell and only lost by 8. Ken Palm projected Rutgers to win by 14. Rutgers won by 31. They dominated. There was a complete performance. This team is getting better. This team's getting better. And now here we are, huge 3-game stretch ahead, 4 out of 5, actually, if you count Mississippi State after, a game against LIU the 16th. So Illinois is a monster game. I'll have plenty before that game. Definitely do a full podcast preview. Going to have another basketball guest this week on the podcast, but it's an opportunity, and I really like the way that they're playing in a cohesive way together. And I think it's just going to keep getting better, in a lot of ways. And I think Noah Fernandes has been a big part of how Rutgers has played better these last 3 games. He keeps getting more and more. You can see the rust shaking off. You can see him getting rhythm and also kind of just figuring out how to play with his teammates. There's a lot of positive stuff there. And I love that Simpson is deferred to him in the second half. Didn't try to do too much. You just have guys accepting roles within each game. I think that's unique. Everyone is, each game it's been a little bit different in terms of who is the lead scorer, who is asserting themselves more with the ball. And it's, really good to see that there is that kind of balance and that unselfishness. So very encouraged by the win. Yes, it's just St. Peter's. There were 239 and KenPom coming in. But this is not some, bottom of the barrel Division I basketball team. Yes, they're much different than Shaheen Holloway's version that went to the Elite 8 2 years ago. But, this is a team that will, I think, make some noise in the MAC. And like I said, they had 2 relatively close losses against good teams this year already. So, Rutgers blew the doors off them, and that was really encouraging. Now you have 4 days until the Big Ten opener. And, Illinois is, I believe they won once in their last 5 trips to the RAC in the last 5 years. So this has not been a great venue for them. And, it's going to be a tough matchup. I got the, in terms of, who's going to guard Coleman Hawkins? Maybe it's Wolf. Who's going to guard Terrence Shannon? Is that Hyatt? Or maybe does Austin Williams get some run there, even though he's a couple inches smaller? It's going to be interesting to see. Is Gavin ready for, this game? Just in terms of able to step in the moment. There's a lot of question marks. We'll learn a lot more about this team after Saturday. But we're entering an exciting part of the season. And Rutgers has shown some real positive signs lately, and definitely reason for optimism with this team. Thanks for listening and watching once again, and just wanted to thank everyone that reached out to me today. I was doing my announcement earlier today that I'm stopping the Scarlet Faithful site and just moving forward with the podcast. I'm really excited about it, and it was really nice to hear from so many people, and so many people that say that they already listen and watch the podcast every day. That means the world to me, and I hope it just keeps getting better. And I hope we have a really exciting basketball season ahead. And I think we do. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.